Hello, my name is Gretchen Lee, and I'd like to welcome you to my PowerPoint presentation, Classroom Management, Creating a Positive Environment from the Start. A little bit of an overview. Be going over my philosophy and how I agree with William Glasser's idea that children have 5 basic needs that need to be met in order for them to succeed. I'll be discussing the start of the year and what I'll be doing at that time, bucket fillers and dippers or behavior expectations, consequences for negative behavior, how we'll be implementing behavior expectations from the start, go a little over the importance of the power of words, and then what I'll be doing to make my classroom an inclusive classroom, and finally, how I'll be effectively communicating with families throughout the year. So, first, I'd like to talk a little bit about my philosophy. I agree, as I said, with William Glasser that children have 5 basic needs that need to be met in order for them to be successful in the classroom. They're successful in the classroom. That also means that we should be having a positive environment in the classroom as well. First is survival, so that's basic food, clothing, shelter. Belonging, which is very important for children because it is through their belonging to a family unit or to a parent that they know that their basic needs of survival are being met. And that also goes in the classroom. They know that when they belong in the classroom, that their basic needs are going to be met. Personal power or independence is something that children do with their achievement in the classroom. Choice and freedom is something that we can give students in the classroom. And finally, it is very important that kids do have fun. So at the beginning of the year, one thing I will do is introduce the Friendship Circle song during my morning circle time. This is a really good way to get kids to introduce themselves, get to know each other, and then with a little activity, maybe a homework assignment where they go take a sheet home, they fill it out with their name, their birth date, and one favorite or one thing they like to do, and then bring back and introduce themselves again the second or third day while we sing the song. The song goes, here we go round the friendship circle, friendship circle, friendship circle. Here we go round the friendship circle with our friends today. It's at that point in the song that kids would introduce themselves, and perhaps you do several rounds, having a few kids introduce themselves each time. I would introduce Have You Filled Your Bucket today to talk about behavior incentives, rules, what behaviors are expected of them, and what behaviors are not expected of them. Explain and make a visual list somewhere in the classroom where it's not too um, it's not too bold, but it is there, so kids know that what happens if they are not um, doing what's expected of them. I'll explain routines as they are implemented. Now we are doing this, and then we'll be doing this. Go along with a clip chart and do that. Repeat, especially during the first week, what we are doing from one step toward the next so that kids know after math they do lunch. After lunch they come in and they do reading. After the first week of a really firm routine, they should be able to understand this. And once that's done, then you can mix up the routine a little bit. But I think it is important that they know that routine, especially during the first week. And model procedures for students. This has been mentioned in class already. What does it look like to use our pencil properly? What does it look like to come to the circle quietly? What does it look like to walk in the hall quietly? What does it look like to use pencils, to use glue sticks, and make sure we model I'll model that for children, and I'll have them model it back to me as well, so we are on the same page. So as I mentioned, I would be use the bucket filling method. There's a book that goes with it. Have you filled a bucket today? Bucket fillers obviously are people who do nice things that support not only their well-being but others' well-beings, sharing, staying on task, getting stuff done, not talking when other people are talking, things like that. There's also a whole website that is that goes over this, and this is the website Bucket Fillers 101, which is something that you can take a look at on your own time, and you can see just how successful that this approach is in the classroom. Again, I kind of went over bucket fillers. The important thing here is to be precise about rules, really let them know what it means to share, what it means to stay on task, keeping hands to ourselves. So instead of saying don't touch other people, say we're going to keep our hands to ourselves. Praising friends, saying good job, or saying I like that. The more precise we are, the more kids can follow through because the better they will understand the rules. Same with bucket dippers. What does it mean to hurt others? What does it mean to ignore others? Pushing, shoving, all of those things are things you need to clearly explain to children when you're going over the rules. When we dip, it is important that kids know that they are dipping, warning the student, and at this very first stage, we should be looking at the ABC approach. A is the anecdote, what happened before, B is the behavior, and C is the consequence. While we might not be able to look at this from the start, it is something that we need to be aware of, and maybe we can change something from the start, have a discussion with this child so that good behavior there will be the end result. If they continue, take away from a bucket chart, maybe a pebble, limited colors, something that shows the children that they are indeed dipping into their bucket, which takes away from their fun, takes away from others' fun, and we just don't want to do that. If I continue down, student would sit outside of the group until they choose to change their behavior. I would make sure that this was still in the classroom so they could see that the fun group dynamic is still taking place and it's something they're missing out on. And I think that's very important for them to understand. If I have to, I'd limit their free time or remove it. And then clearly a call or email home would be appropriate. And finally, removal from the classroom, and at that point, a conference with other professionals in the building, with more one-on-one with parents would be in order, so we can really look at what's going on and how can we correct it. The bottom line is that we want to correct negative behavior. If we can do it up here, that is the key. Praising good behavior from the start is very important to let kids know that they are doing what is important and that it is received by excitement, encouragement, happiness, all of those things we want to encourage in the classroom. Warning students of poor behavior, show your authority, show that you are the boss, let them know that the consequences are being implemented, and follow through with consequences to the button, especially during the first few weeks, so that they clearly know that you mean business, you mean what you say, and that they will have consequences for negative behavior. But we really want to be looking for solutions. So look at, is there a problem with two kids working together? Is there a problem with not having a sharpened pencil? Is there a problem with maybe the child's cold? Maybe the seat for the desk is too low. And finding little innuendos that, again, will help them meet those 5 basic needs that I went over in the beginning so that they can have success in the classroom. Be precise with praise. I like how you're reading quietly. I'm really enjoying listening to you guys um, listening to you guys give answers one by one, waiting until you're called on. Being more precise lets kids know exactly what it is that they're doing well, and they'll likely continue that in the future. Show me. I know you can do walks in the hallway quietly, so I'm gonna let you show me how to do that. When you let kids show you, and you let students you give faith that you show students that you have faith in them to do things correctly, they're going to be excited, and they're going to kind of feel that personal empowerment that they can do what's expected of them. Be stern and direct with commands and warnings. Again, show your authority. Redirect instead of exclaiming the negative. I need you to work independently right now. I need you to put that away. I need you to keep your hands to yourself. Let them know what they're supposed to do without focusing on what they're not supposed to do. Because that is just making the problem seem bigger than it is. Inclusive classroom, real quickly. I think the most important thing here is that I would keep a teacher's journal every day, especially for the first few weeks. Kind of jot down who I saw was contributing most, who maybe was shying away, so that I can make adequate changes. And if there are children that are more shy than others, give them special tasks that they can do outside of group time, like putting books away or handing out papers, that allows them to feel included without having to need to say the right thing at the right time during group. Family communication, very quickly. Transparent greetings letter at the start of the year, really let them know what the rules are, what's expected of their students, maybe go over some of the things that they'll be doing. Letters home every Monday to introduce the week. Daily pebble or bucket charts to show daily pebble or bucket charts to show that that children will bring home, show that they did have filled buckets throughout the year. Emails, I'll be very precise. I'll probably do emails half hour before school and half hour after school dismissal. I've never been a big fan of checking emails at 10 o'clock at night, and I will make sure that the families know that. I believe if I check emails in the morning, then that should still let me respond to anything that was given the night before. And I would call parents weekly to let them know, hey, your kid's doing a good job this week, or hey, you know what, we're really having a hard time with reading quietly. But they're doing really great. Always doing the sandwich approach. Good. Something that needs to be discussed, and then end with good. These would be short and quick, just to let parents give up parents the opportunity to check in with me as well. So in review, meeting students' needs, talking about the start of the year, using bucket charts, consequences, implementing behavior, expectations. I talked a little bit about the inclusive classroom, the power of words, and family communication. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them, and I will get back to them as soon as I am able. Thank you.